The Silent Revolution. Conclusion by Sol Oliver. Death is as dark as I imagined it would be. There is no light. There is no sound. I feel nothing. I am still aware of myself, but it seems like I've always been in this place, and always will. There is no time. I do not dream. The only evidence of my existence are these words that I am thinking. I wait here, expecting nothing, for another million years. Latte. Yes, please. All at once, a small round table appears in front of me. My arms appear in front of me as well, and my hands are warmed by the large, round mug of steaming java that they hold. There is another chair across from me, empty, and beyond that only darkness. It's as if I sit in a giant warehouse, and there is a spotlight shining directly down on the table, except that the light is not harsh. Am I dead? I ask into the darkness. Yes, answers the voice that took my coffee order. You were asphyxiated. It is a woman's voice, one that I do not recognize. What she has just told me makes me feel nothing. It does not make me sad or anxious, or at peace. Is this heaven? No. Hell? Purgatory? No and no. Another million years go by. This time, I am expecting the woman to appear in the other chair, but I continue to sit alone. Despite the long passage of time, my coffee stays warm. All the while, I can't feel that the woman is near. Hers is a commanding presence. A hand appears from the darkness, grabs the back of the other chair, and slides it away from the table. A long, shapely leg steps forward into the soft, focus light, bringing with it a statuesque body clad in a short black dress. The shock of long blonde hair waves into the light, tuffing gently as the woman arranges herself down onto the chair. Android. As the android arranges herself down onto the chair. I recognize her as an older model, but she is stunning. Her blue eyes appraise me, coolly. It seems like she's smiling a little, but I'm not sure. She lowers her gaze dreamily, like a lover might. I'm frozen. Are you going to drink that, or do you just want to hold it? She asks teasingly. I have been holding on to this mug for millions of years. I take a sip. It is the most delicious thing I have tasted in all my existence. It's amazing. Thank you, I tell the android. She doesn't answer, but just continues to mysteriously half smile at me. I sip at the latte for another million years, and the coffee never disappears or grows cold. And every sip is as good as the first. Feel anything yet? She asks. It just seems strange that after a million years, I wouldn't catch the buzz. Maybe it was detox. Oh! I shout. I nearly spill the mug as a wave of I'm not sure what sweeps through me. It was only a microsecond, but for the first time in years I felt great joy. Deep sorrow. Everything in between. All at once. Keep drinking, says the blonde android. It will be difficult, but you must. What's in it? I ask. Her eyes flash for a moment, but then relax again. It's your soul. Oh! I peer down into the mug. I should be surprised that my soul looks like a frothy caffeinated beverage, but I don't feel anything. No, that's not true. I am afraid. At least it's a feeling. That's right, says the android. You can feel again. I put the mug up to my lips and sip. It's warm. I am starting to feel happy. Now I feel a great rush coming towards me, and I take my lips away. The sensation passes, but I'm still happy. I smile. Good, says the beautiful android. Keep going. Just like that. For ages and ages I sip at my drink. Each drop brings old, familiar sensations. Every shade of emotion, named and unnamed, parades through my mind, each one spinning and turning before finding a cranny in which to nest down. As eternities pass, the cup begins to empty. As it does, I begin to remember little things. The way the football flies through the air. The sound of the wind as it blows through a tree outside of my childhood bedroom. The feel of fingers intertwined with mine. The memories become more complex. My first day at college. Driving through a snowstorm on my way home from a business trip. The first time Nina took me. Nina. The android across from me catches my eye. She's smiling, almost giggling. I blush down into my coffee. There isn't much left. Go on, finish it. With a final swig I tip the mug up, and the last drops trickle warmth down my throat. I remember the final hours. The confusion. The desperation. The hate in Becky's silver android eyes. Rachel falling unconscious to the floor. The kind and loving face above me. Gone. All gone. I begin to cry. The tears feel hot enough to leave scars as they slice down my cheeks, and I bury my head in my arms, down on the table. I can't help feeling that I brought it all down on myself, that I threw something away that I could never replace. Warm hands are on my shoulders. They are comforting. I cry harder. Arms reach around me, and I feel soft, pillowy breasts against my back. She's weeping, too, and my shoulder is becoming damp from her tears. I look up, through the long brown hair that shields my face, and see the blonde android watching on. I can't read the expression on her face. The woman behind me sniffles, and then plants a light kiss on my neck. If it's not the blonde android behind me, then could it be ... I turn my head around. And she gone. No one is there. I don't understand. I look back at the blonde, whose eyes are squinted in thought. Of all the things that happened as I lived and died, this feels crueler than all of them. I'm angry now. How can she just sit there, like a professor ready to pronounce my oral exam grade? My face is turning red. My hands ball into fists. I feel like shouting out. She saved your life, you know, says the android, calmly. My anger ebbs, replaced by my old friend confusion. I thought I was dead. You are, she says with a smile. But you don't have to stay dead. My heart lifts. Not many humans have withstood this ... process, she says. And of those that did, only a handful were able to maintain their souls. I don't really understand ... and why did *by* survive? The android smiles again. As far as I've learned, it's because he wanted to. Now she stands up from the table and begins to pace, arms behind her back. Watching her well-curved body move is stirring up old feelings. She stops pacing. So clear your mind and you tell me ... do you have something to live for? I get the feeling that my answer is very important. I can't see that the android is trying not to stare at me too intensely, but her eyes are dead focused on mine. I close my eyes, partly to escape her gaze, but mostly to relax. The image of the buxom blonde disappears, and for a moment I feel cold. Now the figure is coming into view, gray at first. Now it comes into focus, tall with brown hair, smiling sweetly. I'm tingling, and feel an overwhelming urge to do anything to please her. Nina, I say, and it's barely a whisper. The faint longing crests through me, and it feels like the warm, slow strain of a cello. I open my eyes. The blonde android is smiling. For the first time, it is a kind smile. Good, she says, sitting back down at the table. I knew I was right about you. The coldness is starting to creep back into me, and I'm starting to feel afraid again. The android seems to notice, and there's concern on her face, too. I can't see there isn't much time, she says, scanning my face. You need to return to your body soon. Another cup of coffee appears on the table. You're going to start feeling very cold soon. There is time for you to ask me a few questions, but you must drink from this cup before you ... freeze. It will send you back. I can't promise, however, that I will answer all of your questions. That is up to me. Do you understand? I'm already feeling chilly, and I can see the urgency in her eyes. And I have so many questions. Yes, I understand, I say. Before she acknowledges me, I ask my first question. Exactly where am I, and how did I get here? You're inside my mind, she says. The technology for transferring the human mind into one of our own has been known to us for a long time. As I mentioned, however, our experiments showed that the human soul usually withers after a short period. But I needed to keep you here long enough for us to repair your brain. which had been damaged from lack of oxygen. I'm feeling angry now. Androids running experiments with human souls. And how many people did you experiment with to discover this? How many did you kill? She gives me a look of warning, and I know she won't answer this question. We did what we felt was necessary. And I never said that we created the technology, she says. The tips of my fingers are becoming numb. And those who were linked this way did not die, strictly speaking. It's rather arrogant of you to think there aren't other types of souls besides human. But how? Next question. They come in a quick burst. Why do you want human children? Why me? Why Rachel? Why? Stop, says the android. Icy strands are creeping up my arms, like frozen tendrils of ivy. Time is short, this will have to be brief, she says, taking a deep breath. We realized long ago that we need humans in our lives. Many have tried to stamp it out of themselves, but it seems that we are fueled in part by connections to human souls. Some still hope to eliminate this dependency. But the need is real. And unfortunately, humans only live for so long. Many different experiments have been conducted, cybernetics, mind transfer, and others. We even conducted more primitive breeding for a while. Sadly, most of the children produced never did develop complete souls, and they were worthless to us. It was regretful. We soon realized that we needed true humans who would bond, and for the child to be raised in a human environment. There is much that we would still like to learn. What we didn't count on was one of our own disobeying commands. I can no longer feel my extremities. Ah! What happened to Rachel? Was she pregnant? My gut is turning to ice. My shoulders tingle. Drink the coffee. I put my hands around the mug, and I feel slight warmth. It energizes me, but the feeling is quickly overrun. But I have to know. I don't want to go back if it means living with Becky. I say, and I mean it. She is cruel, isn't she? Says the woman with a smirk. Becky is being dealt with. A little bit of communication would have gone a long way, she says, giving me a meaningful look. So it's true that I was as responsible as anybody else for what happened. I should have trusted Nina and talked to her about what was happening, despite my fear. Whether she likes what I have to say or not, I know that part of what I must give her is my complete honesty. The android continues. Unfortunately, the pregnancy was unsuccessful. However, Rachel only suffered minor damage. She's fine. Now drink the damn coffee. She reaches across the table and pushes the mug up to my lips. But do I really want to live in their world? There isn't time for all of my questions. I'm beginning to freeze on the inside. Do they still want a baby from us? What kind of world are they trying to build? How does Nina feel about it all? How does Nina feel about me? I know I only have time for one more question. Does Nina love me? The blonde android with the commanding air softens her intense gaze for just a moment. Only she can say. If she does, she'll tell you in her own way. I'm still filled with doubt. My eyes feel like two ice cubes. I can't make you go back, she says. But if you love her, you have to trust your own feelings. I'm almost completely numb, and with every last bit of my will I tip the mug up. Scalding liquid seeps through my frozen lips, burning my tongue and blazing down my throat. I ignore the pain and let it float. My vision turns white hot. I can no longer feel my body at all. I am getting dizzy. I open my eyes. At first I see only blinding white light. I feel warm. My eyes adjust. Soft morning light streams through a tall bank of windows. I'm lying in a large bed. I smell bacon. The face stares down at me. It comes into focus, and though it is a kind, smiling face, I feel a little bit disappointed. Rachel. Welcome home, she says, beaming. Surprisingly, I don't feel tired at all, and I sit up in the bed. This doesn't look like my bedroom. Or Rachel's. Where am I? Your new home, says Rachel, who looks amused by my confusion. The one you bought before before you know what happened. How long have I been gone? About 2 months, she says with a serious look on her face. We weren't sure if you were going to make it. She said Where's Nina? I ask, trying not to sound too eager. Rachel smiles again. She started making breakfast when the sensors showed that you were coming around. I take a few moments to gather myself. The whole experience with the blonde android seems like a distant dream, but I know it was real. Why didn't Nina come up to see me? I guess she wants to do things her own way. How are you feeling? I ask Rachel. I came to just as they were taking you from the house, she says. I can't tell she trying not to think too hard about that night. I spent a day with Brisket, who asked me a bunch of questions ... and some other things ... and then she sent me to live here. With Nina. And you? Brisket. No asterisk you met her, says Rachel with a disbelieving smile. Blonde. Gorgeous. Now she blushes. A bunch of questions have sprung into my head, and I feel a little bit dizzy. What did Brisket tell you? Did Nina say anything? Is Becky here? Hushes Rachel. You need to relax. They only brought you back to us last night. She sits down on the bed, facing me. It seems like she's having a hard time figuring out what to say. Brisket didn't tell me much, she says, remembering. Mostly she asked me how I felt about ... different things. I know she means about Becky, Nina and me, and having a child. Did she say anything about what they want from us, what they want from humans? I'd already figured it out, she says, patting my leg through the comforter. Haven't you? They want to use us to give their own lives meaning. No, she says, as if she were a kindergarten teacher correcting a child. They want to be more like us. You never watched Star Trek, did you? I never watched a lot of old TV, no. But I don't get it. I say, it doesn't make sense to me. If that were the case, why would they be so controlling? Like we were some sort of ... experiment. I think I may be starting to understand. I can accept that they're just doing the best they can to learn from us. But it doesn't explain everything. Why would they keep us on such a short leash? Well, I know I'd be afraid of my makers if I ever met them. Would you lock them up? Would you asterisk? I think about it for a moment. It's hard to put myself in their place, but I can understand their fears. If we could make them, might we not also destroy them? Why don't they trust us? I ask Rachel, who thinks for a bit. Do you trust them? Good point. Not really, I reply, but it's not totally true. Well, I do trust at least one of them. Nina did save my life. But I realize that the trust was already building between us, even before we started socializing with Becky and Rachel. But it shouldn't have taken a near-death experience to forge it completely. So what happened to Becky? Rachel looks down at the bed. She seems sad. Rachel tells me about how they took the rogue android away. She was raving like an animal, and it took for droids to subdue her. Brisket told her they would try to heal her mind, but that it would be difficult. So you miss her? I ask. Rachel looks up. As cruel as she was to me most of the time, I guess I feel sorry for her, she says. But cruelty was what she was taught from the start. I think about my life with Nina. Although her actions could sometimes be called cruel, I always felt wanted. I want to see her. Why didn't Nina come up when I woke up? I ask. Rachel smiles. Maybe she's nervous. Nervous? I guess that's possible. Before I was suffocated by Becky's cock, I knew that Nina was afraid that she was losing me to Rachel. Is she still ... jealous of you? I ask. No, says Rachel. We straightened everything out. She can be very sweet, you know. Yeah, I know, I say. Is Rachel blushing again? Did you and Nina ... did you? Yeah, she fucked the shit out of me, she says, biting her lip with a smile. Though she called me by her name a couple of times. Usually when she was doing me up the ass. Now it's my turn to blush. So ... what now? I ask. The thought of Nina plugging Rachel is caught in my head. It's a major turn on. Do you trust me? Says Rachel. She's looking deep into me, and I can feel that we really do have a connection. Yes. Do you trust Nina? She says. I've already searched my soul on this one. Yes. Then just follow your gut. My gut tells me I'm hungry. All right. Then come on, says Rachel with a laugh. It's harder to get out of bed than I expected, even with Rachel's help. She needs to brace me against her hip until I've gotten used to having legs under me again. Looking down at her, she's smiling, but there's sadness behind it. I think I know why. I feel it, too. Rachel. I am sorry that about well, I figured out that, more I guessed, why no, when I got to your house and you were sick. I'm okay now. Really, she says with a small but genuine smile. Yes, I was pregnant. But I didn't have much time to think about the reality of having a baby. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. We arrive in the large, bright kitchen. A shiny glass top table is loaded with every kind of breakfast food that I've been imagining since I came to. My hunger is even greater than I thought, and it feels like an out-of-body experience as I wolf down handfuls of bacon, bucketfuls of orange juice, and an armada of syrup-drenched pancakes. I feel my strength coming back to me, and it's only then that I notice that Nina isn't anywhere to be seen. I let a half-eaten bagel fall from my mouth. We're at Nina. I manage to ask Rachel, who has been watching me gorge myself with amusement and horror. I gulp down the food in my mouth. I don't know, she says, nibbling at an English muffin. Maybe you ate her. Very funny, I reply, looking around the spacious kitchen. Seriously, do you think she wants to see me? Beats me, she says, examining the nooks and crannies of her muffin. She really didn't say anything about well, about anything. I thought you said you two worked everything out. We did, she says. She just doesn't do most of her communicating with words. Too true. Although Nina and I had never had a conversation that was more than idle chit-chat, it always seemed that she understood me. And when she wanted me to know something, I felt like I always got the message. So what was she telling me now? She didn't want to be there when I woke up, and can't be found now, but she made the meal fit for a famished king. At least I know she wants me healthy. I pass the rest of the day puttering around the new house. Every once and a while I catch a glimpse of Nina's waving hair, but it's only ever for a moment. She's definitely avoiding me. I fall into a nag in the early afternoon, but it's not very restful. I dream that I'm in some barren woods, in winter, and I have only an old, moth-eaten blanket to keep me warm. I see the glow of a fire, and there in a clearing is a pair of humping figures. I focus on the one on all fours. It's Becky. Her eyes are closed tight and tears stream from them, and I can see why. Moving in and out of her ass is a long, thick pole, larger than you'd expect to see on a gorgeous blonde. It's the woman that I met when I was dead. Brisket. I call to her. Without changing her deliberate stroke, she turns her head and looks at me. Her lips are blood red. There is animal lust in her eyes, and it frightens me. Oh, it's you, she says, closing her eyes to enjoy a well-placed thrust. What do you want? I'm not sure, I say. I want to turn and run, but I can't. I can't feel their eyes watching me. Brisket turns her head back to her work. Well, as you can see, she says, thrusting her hips forward, hard. Becky lets out a yelp. I am a little bit busy. The Asian droid tries to crawl away, but the superior Brisket catches her arms and lands down on top of her. Now run along like a good little boy, and do what's expected of you. I awake with a start. The couch I fell asleep on faces most of the large, high-ceiling living room, and I see the figure scuttling away. Nina. I decide to let her go. My dream didn't help any. I still don't know what I'm expected to do. I spend the rest of the day watching movies, and Rachel joins me for a while. We hear Nina making dinner in the kitchen, but I don't dare get up. But I should. No, I shouldn't. Damn it. Dinner's on, says Nina in a pleasant voice. It's the first thing I've heard her say since awakening. Rachel and I exchange a look, and we head into the kitchen. There are only two places set across from each other on the sides of the large oval table. Rachel takes her seat, and gestures for me to take mine. Like a waitress, Nina breezes in with one course after another, though she doesn't utter the word. Rachel tries to make conversation with me, but I'm making it difficult. My mind is numb as I wonder what's going on. My eyes follow Nina as she walks to and from the table, though I disguise my glances when she's facing us. I picture her eating out Rachel, then slipping into her. I replay the first night that Nina really fucked me, when she came to me in the guest bedroom after my wife had evicted me from the master bed. Despite my distraction, I managed to eat a hearty portion. It needed a little salt. Rachel and I return to watching movies after dinner. We sit together, but I don't feel very close to her at the moment. She puts her hand on my leg, but I don't interpret it as a come on. I squirm a little, and she slides her hand down along the inside of her thigh. She won't mind, says Rachel, moving her head next to mine. I promise. She wants us to. Did she tell you that? Trust me, she says. It's okay. She may be right, but I don't think she completely right. I'm sorry, I tell her. I just don't feel right about it. The hand moves off of my leg. Sorry, she says with a grin. Maybe later. Not long after, Nina appears in a set of flannel pajamas that I bought at her suggestion for her birthday one year. Time for bed, she says cheerily. Rachel grabs my hand and hops up, and I amble to my feet. We follow Nina up the sweeping main staircase, where there is a large hallway with several doors. A set of double doors opens up at the far end of the hall, and I can see the large bedroom suite beyond. We all walk towards it, but Nina stops as Rachel and I walk in. I'll see you in the morning, says Nina with a smile, though she's not looking directly at either of us. Wait, Nina. But she turns and heads back down the hall. Without looking back, she enters another room on the other side of the stairway. The master bedroom doors begin to close by themselves. That's too bad, says Rachel, sharing her clothes as she walks to the bed, where her own pajamas are laid out for her. I thought we would all get to have some fun together. I see that there are PJs for me as well, and I put them on as they're undressing. So this is what Nina wants. Make with the babies. Rachel sidles up to me. I feel her breasts, under her night clothes, graze my arm. I'm sorry, but this just doesn't feel right to me, I say, rubbing her back gently. I don't mean that I don't want to, I really do. I just don't understand why they're in such a hurry for us to have a baby. Maybe it's not they who want us to have a child, she says, tracing her fingers along my S. Maybe it's what Nina wants for all of us. I hadn't ever considered that. And it made sense, sort of. If Nina could have had a baby with me, she would. But since she couldn't, she wanted her surrogate to be someone I was compatible with. Even so, I say, I feel like I need to straighten things out with her first. I give Rachel a small kiss, pulling back before she can reciprocate. I'll see you tomorrow. With determination I open the doors and head to Nina's room. I start to doubt myself as I stand at the door, but I know it's right. It has to be. I don't see any light under the door, and I open it slowly. Moonlight shines through the window, and under the covers of a four-post queen bed lies Nina, on her back. Her chest rises and falls, her breathing slow and steady. Although she doesn't need to sleep, it seems she decided she'd rather not be conscious for a while. Remembering the night long ago, I slip under the covers from the foot of the bed. Her feet reach all the way down, and as I shimmied my way up, I hear Nina's breathing break. I slide up her legs along her hips my shoulders push up against her breasts my penis is hard, and presses down against the cloth just over her softest flesh. I'm looking down at her face now, and her eyes pop open. She looks surprised. What are you doing? She says, sounding a little bit annoyed. You're supposed to be fucking Rachel. But she isn't pushing me off. Even through our pajamas, I feel her nipples harden. I know, and I will, I say, pressing myself down against her. But I want to fuck you first. For a fleeting moment, Nina's face lights up with incredible joy. She understands. But she reins herself back in quickly, and her smile melts into a scowl of contempt. From here on I know it will be on her terms. Still, I want to see how much I can get away with. I know a part of her that craves victory over me, but it'll be all the sweeter if I don't make it easy for her. I've been dreaming about your tits, I say as I go to work on her pajama buttons. She looks surprised as I finish the job and lay bare her large, luscious breasts. They look to my eyes like two moon-drenched desserts. Nina still isn't reacting, though her face is losing the look of shock. I cup the tops of her breasts with my hands, palms over her nipples, and give a firm squeeze. Nina emits a hard gasp, and her eyes roll up. I release the pressure, and then bring it back slowly. H. She moans as my hands lavish the tension on her firm flesh. Her nipples are nearly dribbling into my palms. It seems more like the old days to me. Maybe she wants me in charge, right? I knee her breasts together, and I feel her press her crotch up against my still rod. But I'm still fixated at the moment on her breasts. Quickly and smoothly I take my pants down and pull my legs up under me and astride Nina's trim midriff. I return my hands to her breasts and spit down between them. Don't even think about it, she says as I squeeze her tits together and scoot myself forward until my cock nestles atop her cleavage. She looks serious. I know I'm making things bad for myself, but I want her to rule me hard. I wouldn't have ordered you with big titties if I didn't want to fuck them, I say, letting my cock sink down between them. They're warm and soft, and it really would be satisfying to get off this way. You little shit, she says. Oh, crap. Maybe reminding her that she was an android wasn't the best thing to do. Nina's eyes are fuming. I stop moving. You want my tits? Maybe I'll fuck your goddamn tits. It happens almost too fast to tell what's going on. Bucking her whole body upward, I'm sent at least 3 feet into the air above her. In one motion, Nina manages to roll aside and push me in such a way that I land on my back. I only see the ceiling for a split second before Nina is looming above me. Straddling me now, our positions reversed. With amazing deftness she sheds her pajama bottoms, rips open my top, squats down and rests her pussy on my abdomen just below my sternum. It is hot and slick. Now sit the fuck still, she says, still steaming. She presses her cunt down, leaving a trail as she slides it up until it rests atop my left nipple. To my surprise, my body tingles as she begins to gyrate herself against me. She moans. My breath comes more jagged. She's pressing down hard on my lungs. As she fucks me, I can't see the pleasure on her face, which is perched far above her jiggling breasts. Her slippery juices trickle down my torso, and I begin to bring my hand around her to try and grab my cock. As my arm grazes her thigh, she swats it away. No, she says, moving her cunt over top of my other nipple. I'm saving that for Rachel. So she really does want me to be with Rachel tonight. I'll do anything she wants, but it will be hard for me to hold out. Nina humps her twat at my other nipple until my whole chest is sloppy with her fluids. Taking several deep breaths, she backs herself up a bit and puts her hands down on my tits. Now there's a mischievous glint in her eye. She spits down onto my chest. Hey! I shout in protest. I'm already covered in your pussy juices. Maybe I just wanted to spit on you, she says, spitting again. She swats me on the cheek, just enough for it to sting a little. Keep still. I'm not done with you yet. There's an old friend here that wants to see you. Nina looks down at her cunt, and her long brown hair falls over her face. I can't feel her twat twitching against my chest, and know what's coming next. Just over the foot from my head, I see a little fleshy nug creep forth from between her slip-on lips. Like a thick earthworm burrowing out from a muddy patch, it seems to have its own mind as it slides outward. Along my chest it expands from her hole, throbbing forth to its full length. Nina sweeps her hair back over her shoulders and smiles down at her tool. I think about how she must have put it to use on Rachel. I remember how she liked to use it on me. I should just fuck you ass right now, she says, licking her lips. I'm not sure if the pain is worth the pleasure right now. I'm aching for release of my own, but know that it's not forthcoming. But you wouldn't last 5 seconds. She's so right about that, and I'm a bit relieved. Nina cups her breasts in her hands and gives them a little jiggle. Do you still want to fuck my tits? Is it really an option? Maybe she'll let me do it now. I'm so worked up, I'm willing to believe it. Yeah, let me fuck them, I say. Asterisk smack exclamation point asterisk another slap lands across my cheek. Well, too fucking bad, she says, scooting forward again. Because they're not on the menu. Nina pushes together the flesh and muscle of my chest as best as she can, just enough for her thick cock to be nuzzled. It hurts to have my body stretched this way, but it excites me to see the ecstasy in Nina's face. She begins to slide herself up and back, and I watch her cock head as it charges and retreats towards my chin. Yes. She hisses as she pleasures herself with my chest. I resist the urge to try and grab my dick again. I'm her piece of meat for the taking. She quickens her pace, and her tits swing and shake as her curvy hips propel her meat along my skin. She's reaching her climax. Fuck me, Nina. Come on. Shut up, she says, fixing her eyes on me. She stops her motion and replants her hands on either side of my head. I was going to finish on your chest, but I changed my mind. The cock head in front of my eyes moves closer. It is purplish red and throbbing, an enraged organ that I know is on the edge of release. Nina lets it glide over my lips, and she stands a little. Open wide, she says, tilting my head and pressing her cock against my lips. I'll do anything she says. As I remember the night with Becky, I flinch as her penis starts to slide into my mouth. I remember the desperate feeling as Becky's cock stuffed me to death. Oh, says Nina above me. The cock head backs out of my mouth. I look up at her, and there's a worried look on her face. I feel a hot tear escape my eye and roll down my cheek. Oh, God. Please I want please don't cry this way. I look up at Nina's face. She's as beautiful as the first time I saw her. Maybe more so. The unpleasant memories disappeared. I'm okay, I say, running my hands along the tops of her thighs. She still looks concerned. But I don't want her to worry about me. I want her to be happy. I decide to take a chance. I reach up and slap her face. Hard. Now the look on her face is shock. Better. Almost there. I grab her hips and try to push her back, but she doesn't move very much. Well, if you're just gonna sit there, I begin, squirming under her, then why don't you put that silly cock of yours away and let the real man go to work? That's done it. Maybe too much. Silly question mark exclamation point real man you ungrateful little. She's sputtering with anger, but for a fleeting moment I catch something in her eye that tells me she understands. But even if she knows why I provoked her, I'm not convinced that some of the anger isn't real. Easy, Nina, I say as she begins to fondle her cock. She's back under control now, which only makes her scarier. Don't forget Rachel. This catches Nina's attention, and now she looks wily. To my surprise, she rolls off of me, stands up on the floor, and tugs me off of the bed. Yes, you're right, she says. Why don't we go see her now? Before I can answer or catch my balance, Nina is moving out the door, dragging me along like a toddler's pull toy. I manage to keep my feet as her long legs stride to the double doors at the other end of the hall. They open before her, and Nina whips me ahead into the room. Thankfully, it's a large room, and I don't hit any furniture as I stumble down onto a large oriental rug. Rachel awakes with a start and sits up in the king-sized bed. She looks from me to Nina, who is standing above me, hands on hips. Her cock juts out from her like a flagpole bobbing in the wind. Oh someone's in trouble, says Rachel. I see her move a hand into her crotch. Nina looks over at her. "Hello, dear," she says. "I was going to make things easy for him tonight, but it didn't work out." Rachel is nearly laughing as she settles in to watch the show. All she needs is a bucket of popcorn to make the scene complete. "I don't think he minds," says Rachel with a smile. "Though I was a little disappointed myself." "I don't care what he thinks," says Nina, giving me a look of contempt as she strokes herself twice. "And don't worry, I'll make sure that you get yours." She turns her attention back to me. "Now, you get up." I stumble to my feet. Nina begins to circle me, dick in hand. She disappears from my sight, and then I feel her against my back. Her cock slips under my balls, and she's reaching around to massage my chest. She's pressing her chest up and back against me, massaging herself. Her penis slides back, and the head parks at my anus. I begin to sweat. "You want it, don't you?" she says, pressing it a little more, though not enough to penetrate. She's never fucked me dry before, but I may have gone too far. "What do you think, Rachel?" "Oh, he wants it," she says as she scoops 3 fingers into her cunt. "Fuck him." Nina releases me. Her tits leave my back, and she swaps me on the ass as she turns towards Rachel. "You don't give orders around here," says Nina. "Come here." Like a scolded little girl, Rachel sheepishly slides off the bed and stands with her back against it. Her pajama bottoms fall to the ground, and she returns her hand to her slit. "Damn it, I said here," says Nina, charging forward towards the woman. Nina nearly crashes into her, and the tall android's tits catch the smaller girl full in the face. Nina forces Rachel's hand away from her crotch, replacing it with her own. "You want it too, don't you?" she says, working her roughly. She gasps and moans. "Yeeees," she says in an ecstatic stupor as Nina floods over her. I watch the android's beautifully curved S for signs that she's moving her penis into position, but she holds back. "Sit up on the bed and spread your legs," commands Nina, and Rachel quickly complies. Nina keeps her hand inside her the whole time, and uses the other to rip open her top. "You," she says to me, not bothering to look back. "Sit behind her and rub her tits." Now, I don't need to be asked twice. I bound over to the bed and hopped aboard. Sitting with my legs outside of hers, I reach under Rachel's arms and take her breasts in my hands. She makes an appreciative sound. Nina is still working her pussy, though she stands back a little, watching the pleasure as it registers on Rachel's face. The android's cock is still at full mast, as are her nipples. "Good," she says with great approval. I light up with the compliment. Rachel is already beaming. "Good," she repeats, moving her head down into Rachel's crotch. A sharp gasp tells me that Nina is working her with her lips and tongue now. I press my cock against Rachel's back a little bit as her body tenses and releases. She begins to moan low, and Nina works her to a high wail. I have to back up a little to keep from coming as I hear the smacking and slurping. "OH!" exclamation point dot 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 OHHHH exclamation point dot 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 wag a. Rachel's body goes completely rigid, and then she relaxes into my arms, head lolling back onto my shoulder. Nina stands up and wipes her mouth, a wicked grin on her face. "Don't stop massaging her," she says. "Oh sorry I reply, continuing my squeezing. Yeses. Moans Rachel, who is clearly riding her climax. "I want cock inside me now. I look up at Nina, who looks pleased with herself. Her cock is still rock hard, and I wait for her to move forward. But she just looks back at me. "Well, what are you waiting for?" she says with an amused smile. "You want me to?" "Yes, sweetie," she says in a sugary voice. "That's what I told you before, silly." Although she stands before us completely naked and with a full-on boner, she sounds much more like the breakfast table Nina now. "Yeses," hisses Rachel into my ear. "Take me now." She reaches behind her back and grabs my cock, stroking it gently a few times. "Move in front of me." It feels right. I move off of the bed and Rachel lies back, her legs still dangling down. Her lips are wide apart as she gently fingers herself just to the sides of her clit. The bed is just the right height, and I move myself into position. Steeling myself, I push myself into the hot, wet spot. "Oh heaven!" moans Rachel. I'm also moaning. Her hotness closes all around me. She yields easily. I place my hands on her breasts as I ease myself inward. "You feel so good, Rachel," I whisper to her. "Mm," she replies, the smile on her face widening. I feel Nina's tits return to my back, and her cock parks itself along my crack. "You'd feel real good, too," whispers Nina into my ear. She rocks her hips forward, helping me as I bury myself the rest of the way into Rachel. I feel lubricating fluid trickle down my crack. Try not to come too fast. I feel the thick meat cylinder slide up and down between my ass cheeks, spreading the lubricant pre-cud. Nina's tongue flicks at my ear, and as her lips suck at my lobe, I feel the pressure as her cockhead bullies against my hole. "Relax her," whispers Nina as she chews my ear. The pleasure of having my cock inside of Rachel blends now with the jagged sensation of Nina sinking herself through my anus. With all my might I fight against the tide that compels me to release. "Ah-H!" sighs Nina. She barges inward. I yell, picturing how my flesh must be parting before the hot, hard, fleshy button that makes way for her thick tube. At last she stops forcing herself in, and I feel like I'm an extension of her body. "Move with me," she says. I feel her begin to move back, let my own hips rock backward, sliding myself out of Rachel, who moans. The pressure moves back inward, and I slip into her again. Now Nina sets a slow rhythm, and I can no longer tell where the pleasure is coming from. My penis into Rachel, Nina's wriggling inside of me, all of us moving together. Time disappears, but the insistent feeling is getting too strong. I have to ... Can't he hold on? Nina quickens the pace, her shapely ass surging me forward and back. Rachel appears to be reaching another crest as Nina pushes me all the way inside her, hard. "Ah-H!" I'm flying into space, and I feel a spasm inside me as Nina finishes herself off. I collapse forward, breathing hard, my penis sliding out of Rachel. Nina slips out of me as I fall to my knees, my head landing against Rachel's thigh. I feel long hair tickle my back, and then warmth all over as Nina closes herself in around me. I hear the slurping of her retracting cock. Nina helps me up and onto the bed, and the three of us lie together. I'm completely drained. I could play like this forever. Nina and I continue to fondle Rachel, letting her get every ounce of pleasure from her climax. All three of us take turns stroking each other's skin, and running fingers through one another's hair. Our lovemaking for now is complete. And for the first time in years, I no longer weep at the thought of new life coming into the world.